Welcome to session 3, guys. So session 3 starts with don't be passionate, which seems counterintuitive. Like, yeah, let's go get it, dude. Let's be passionate, have some fire. The problem is, though, people who are passionate, they like obsess with it, but that's all they ever do. Remember the talk section? You have to be almost dispassionate. It talks about Eleanor Roosevelt. You don't need passion. You need purpose and realism, right? Like, you need to care, but you don't need to get drunk with passion. People are so passionate, they're so busy talking about it that they're not doing it. And I think that's very important to remember. So that's not, I won't say much more about that. But just keep in mind, like, those guys that are telling you all about something all the time, they're not doing anything generally. So we have to be almost dispassionate. Equanimity is a word we learned about, right? Don't get too high with the high or lows with the lows. Just operate. This session also talks about the canvas strategy, which I love. It's basically finding canvases for other people to paint on. The more we help others, the more we win, right? Josh would say, a rising tide lifts all ships. There's one part I wanted to point out from the book. It says something we need to remember. You're not nearly as good or as important as you think you are. You have an attitude that needs to be adjusted. And most of what you think you know that you learned out of a book isn't true in reality. So we have to be open to these things. Nobody's as good as they think they are when they're feeling themselves, right? Good news is you're never as bad as you think you are either. But we have to just focus on other people. Help other people along. Clear the way for other people. It's almost like, I don't play a lot of soccer or hockey, but those assists account for points too in the scoring, right? Like, if you can assist somebody else in getting a goal, your team's gonna win, man. I think the next section talks about restraining yourself. They talk about Jackie Robinson, and it says, no one should ever have to stand for mistreatment. But in actuality, you do. If there's something so important to you that along that process, it causes somebody to mistreat you, you know, what do people say? I keep it real. No, bro, stop. You don't need to keep it real and tell everybody off. Follow your purpose. Set out to accomplish what you're going to accomplish. And if other people are mistreating you in that process, but responding to them is going to keep you from what you want, you don't have to respond to that. And remember, when people mistreat us, it doesn't say anything about us. It says something about them, right? And the last thing I wanted to cover was this get out of your own head. Now, this one is important to me because, you know, like, loving Abraham Lincoln like I do, I study the Civil War a lot. And General McClellan was like one of the worst generals ever. He had this big old army and he had all this fame, but he was so worried about protecting that fame that that's all he ever thought about. He didn't think about beating General Lee or winning victories. He just thought, like, what if I lose? Everybody will know I'm not as good as I say I am. Something else they talk about is this idea of an imaginary audience. Like in middle school, right? Like, I have a teenager. We tend to think everybody's looking at us all the time. Well, the bad news is nobody cares about you. But the good news is nobody cares about you, right? Don't worry about what other people are thinking. Just focus on accomplishing what it is you need to accomplish. That's it for today. Thank you, guys.